So today I'm going to speak to you about Palo Santos and white sage and how to cleanse a house correctly. Speak to you soon. So welcome back to Karnak Holistics, where we learn together and we grow together in the sight of God. So today I want to speak about Palo Santos and also white sage and cleansing and how to do it correctly. Now, I've been doing cleansing for well over 20 odd years, probably more than that. Used to just do it for keep my space clear on my healing, and then I used to work with some friends and family, and then I went off obviously, and now I do it for my business and helping to clear away negative energy, also remove negative spirits. Now, there's been many ways I've come into contact, and a lot of the times now I use these herbs in order to cleanse the place I'm in. Now, if I go somewhere and I sense there's a dark energy or energy needs to be clear because we're going to do some work in there, normally a client would call and say that there's been different energies in the house, there's been movements in the house, there's a range of things that could happen. First thing I do is something called a walkthrough, where I walk through and I'll assess the location, and if I feel that there is a negative vibration there, and I have a conversation with the client will say, yeah, this is like this and this is like that, and the events are spiritual, because not all events spiritual, because I look at the mental, obviously, of the client, mental capacity of the client, because it could be for the fact they're projecting it, or they maybe just be seeing things that just isn't there. The other thing it could be is pipes. It could be just the house making movements, and it's not being derogatory to obviously my client, saying that they are suffering from mental health, because obviously that's not a good thing to put on someone. But the reality is like not everything you should be classed down to it being spiritual. When all that is done and the energy in the room is kind of negative, first thing I'll do is I say a couple prayers. One is one from a Native American, I'm Apache Indian. I don't call it Native American. Apache Indian, which my great grandfather was, and that's a cleansing and a protection spell or prayer. And the other one is the Psalm, which is Psalm 23, which is good for cleansing and protection. The valley of the shadow of death. I'll leave descriptions below so you can check those out and look at the words and the meanings. But what I wanted to show you today was some tools I use. I'm gonna do a video with all the different herbs I use when I go and I work to do a cleansing. But today I just want to show you the two main ones, which for me is being very powerful, which are the main ones I bring, than opposed to bringing the whole artillery, so to speak. So the main ones I bring is this, which I'm using, the one I use as is Palo Santos, and also this one, which is white sage, which just has seen a lot of action, and it's amazing aroma. The other thing I would hold it in is this, which is a shell, and it just sits in there like this when it's burning as I go throughout. The other important part of my cleansing is using a feather. This isn't a proper eagle feather. This is not an imitation. It's off I think it's like a pheasant or something. But anyway, so I use that to clear the smoke. And I'll explain to you a bit more why and what it is about. The other thing is I bring blessed holy water, which I kind of like spray about the place. You can see it to cleanse the area. Nothing wrong with this. You can use your hands, but that is being blessed by spirit and by various people. So the first thing I wanted to point out, and what you do is when you're burning, let me tell you a story about how I came across Palo Santos, because I used to always use white sage. I remember I was in the shop in Camden, And I remember talking to this monk. He was like an ex-monk because he left the order and started working. No, so he was a training monk, but he was also working in a Buddha shop. So we was just talking about different herbs, and he goes, "Yeah, everyone uses white sage, and they're really good. But Palo Santos is good because it's blessed and comes from the rainforest. But these are the ones I get. I make sure they come from the right." So it's not damaging the earth, so it's been harvested right, and it's not cutting down trees that shouldn't be done. So the other thing is basically with this and a different with the white sage, I'll show you how and what it is. So first thing is, before I start this, the misconception is, and I have to show you how I've seen people do this, and I've always pulled them up on it. They get the white sage. I'll show you when it's lit, but they get the white sage and it's burning, and they go whoosh 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 like that, like it's some kind of, I don't know, they're trying to, I don't know, dice it out or something. Reality is what you do. I'll show you in a minute. Actually, it's best when I show you. So, what you do when you doing a Palo Santos, you simply burn it like this, and it's literally wood. And you burn it, it's a really strong, potent smell, but when you blow, can you see it's burning away? This is really good for cleansing, and you can use it on yourself, so you can just waft it around you. You can use the feather to fan the flame, or you can let it just burn. And that could be, but it burns out really quickly, so when you have to constantly light it. This was about this big, so I've been using it over a period of a year. So the next thing is when you're using white sage. So I'm going to clear the energy, so spray that. And when I use the white sage, you simply, I'm holding this on my lap, so you simply light it with a lighter, like this. You wait for it to catch light. And make sure you do it in a safe place, and there's no sparks going anywhere. And it just burns lovely like this, and you can sit on it like that. You can sit in there like that, so it's just safe and comfortable. Right, what I was saying about doing it properly, you just do it stroke, like you're blessing, like it's the hand of God, just blessing a place like this. And when you do it, you leave what people do, they think they just carry in one room, walk around the house, and they just walk with it like this. You're meant to stay in a room, and this is what my grandfather told me, obviously he's in spirit, but you stay in the room until the smoke burns out. Because then as the smoke burns out, it's cleansing the room. The stronger the potent, or stronger the smell, or say if you're working and then you still feeling there's energy in there, then you can use the fanning motion to get the smoke rising. But if you're just in a room and it's burning like this, and it's just continuously burning, there's an energy that it needs to clear, whether it's positive or negative, but it needs to clear the negative. It's normally negative energy. So you just leave it burning like this, and then you say your prayers as you're doing it. And you repeat it over. I go into each room and I always say it 3 times. So it could take between half, it depends what, if it's one room, it could take half an hour to an hour, it could take 2-3 hours. It depends where I am and what I'm doing. The biggest place I've had to do was, believe it or not, was 20 rooms, and that took me about 5 hours to cleanse those properly, because this was a massive stately home that I had to clear. Came my voice changing. And every time I do this work, or I work with herbs or crystals, my energy shifts, and I'm not the kind of the coach, to become more of a sage. So that's the element, and obviously that's burning out, and keep it safe. So make sure you always keep an eye on it. Keep it away from children. It's not a toy. It's very dangerous. And if you're doing this work, make sure you research it, focus on it, you understand it. Don't just go in there like I see so many people do with bloody Ouija boards and with all this stuff that they do. If you're going to do it properly and make it you're safe, because it isn't a joke. And when you've done that, you can bless the zone or the areas that you worked in with a prayer, or you can burn some incense, or you can burn some, the incense sticks, or you can burn some incense, is in the oils. So that's how I cleanse the room and what I use when I'm working. And when I finish with the room, I'll bless the room and then burn it with the oil. So I hope that's helped. You got any questions, leave comments below. If you need some way cleanse, let me know. The website's on the bottom. Get in touch. And if there's anything, any experience you've had while working with white sage, leave the comments below as well. So I look forward to speaking to you and hearing from you. And like, share, and subscribe as always. And I'll see you on the next video. Leave comments below, and namaste.